Welcome back. We're in conversation today with Suhel Seth. Suhel, you've been called witty by some, funny, and also a loudmouth. What compels you to be so brutally honest and forthright about your opinions?
I don't know. I mean, people ask for them, and I think rather than lie and have sleepless nights, I'd just rather be upfront. And yeah, see, I've come to a stage in life where I really don't care what people say. I know what I'm doing. I know I'm doing it diligently. I'm doing it with credibility. I'm doing it without an agenda. No one can buy me. No one can force me to say, what they would like me to say. And to hell with the rest. Winston Churchill famously said, the only person you've got to be popular with is your wife. And I don't have one. Therefore, I don't even have that noose around my neck.
So I speak my mind attitude, has that cost you friendships and relationships?
No, not at all. And if it has, which I don't know of, I couldn't care. Because if relationships can be ruptured or fractured on the basis of what you say and what you know is honest and credible, then that relationship wasn't meant to be. A friend must understand that I will take a stand. And my real friends do. For the rest, I don't care.
But it is a rare commodity. Not many people are as brutally honest as you would be. In India, there are very few Suhel Seths around.
Thank God. Otherwise, we wouldn't be relevant. To be fair, I think what happens is there must be very many brutally honest people. But we often get cowed down. Again, because we are thinking of the future rather than living in the present. We worry, what if I take a stand against this guy today and tomorrow he becomes important? Will I get messed up? Will I get strung? But you can't think like that. Man cannot live in a tunnel which is engulfed by fear. You've got to live in the free spirit of mankind, which is say things that you believe in. And if you don't believe in them, then don't say it. So a lot of the time, what happens is we are hypocritical. We say things that we don't ever believe. And it either shows up in the way we say it, or it shows up in our deeds later. Either of which is disgusting. So why would I say something that I don't believe in? So I will tell you straight. If you ask me a straight question, I will never duck the question. Because to my mind, you ask me a question, you have the right, and I must have the courtesy to respond to you. I cannot create a situation where I obfuscate. And the tragedy is, we are too worried about society. We're too worried about what our peers will say. We're too worried about, will I get into trouble? Will I lose the next invitation to that party? And that is what drives us to this silence, which is so, it's full of subterfuge.
You write a column for The Telegraph called The Survival Strategies.
Yeah.
You've been criticized sometimes for belittling or sometimes even making a mockery out of people's problems. Do you feel it's a fair criticism?
Absolutely, but that's the brief. People should realize that I work to a brief. I was told by Avik Sarkar, who owns the Anand Bazaar group, that he wanted me to be an agony uncle. I told him I was not going to be a polite agony uncle because I've never been polite in my life. So he says, what will you be? I said the opposite of polite, which is rude, which is exactly what I am. People love it. It's the longest running column in all of Indian journalism.
It is very funny.
It is funny. People love it. People in Calcutta, whenever I visit Calcutta or the Northeast, come up to me and say, we begin our Sundays with that column. So why should I care if people criticize me? People criticize Galileo, for God's sake. They criticize Plato. They criticize Mandela. They criticize Gandhi.
So it never gets to you?
Never. You have to be thick-skinned. If you're in public life, you've got to be thick-skinned. But that doesn't mean you've got to be unresponsive. It doesn't mean you've got to be insensitive. But you've got to be thick-skinned. You can't let every bit of criticism, pain you to no end or change the way you are. Often what happens is we get so alarmed by criticism that we then keep changing. Man is not a chameleon. Chameleons are chameleons.
And despite what you say, people still keep writing to you?
Yeah, I told you, humanity is a glutton for punishment. They love it. I think, it's come to a stage, and a lot of, perniciously minded people would tell me, Suhel, are you sure you don't write the questions and the answers?
Yeah.
I said, I haven't gotten to that level of insanity. Because some of these questions are purely insane. But then people love it. So as long as the column receives so many questions, almost 800 to 1,000 questions a week, of which I answer only 3. I'm happy, they're happy.
You're friends with the rich and famous. You're known to be friends with the Bachchans and with the Khans. So how do you maintain to keep a friendship with two rival camps?
I think that's an excellent question. They're rival camps in the eyes of the media. For me, my relationships are exclusive. They're not inclusive. I'm not a guy who works in cliques. I'm not in anyone's camp. I am my own camp.
You are your own brand.
It's not even about brand. I'm my own camp. Why on earth would I be tortured? Why would I stress myself about, oh, does that guy like this guy, so therefore should I be... If someone invites me, and if someone who I invite comes over to my house, we're friends. I don't care what his relationship with person X or person Y is. And I'll tell you, Sadia, they respect me more for that. And the other rule that I follow is, I will never discuss one camp, to use inverted commas, with the other.
But is
I
it
will
a
never
pressure
carry
from one
tales.
camp that
None.
you're our friend?
No. If you allow your friendship to morph into some form of sane slavery, then you run that risk. But if your friendship is an independent friendship, based on respect, on trust, on engagement, then you don't need to worry. Often we second guess people who are bigger or more famous or more important than us. We want to own them. Friendships are not territorial. Friendships are borderless. Relationships often become territorial, which is why relationships suffer. Why does a man and woman suffer in a relationship when he or she does? It's because we ring fence that relationship and don't allow the air of freedom to invade. We use words like possessiveness and obsession, but those are just words. In our minds, we don't want to lose that person. So in order not to lose the person, we imprison that person.
I think what friends tend to use the word is loyalty. They feel you're being disloyal when you're
There's
friends.
no such thing. Loyalty is the most abused generalization in mankind. There is no such thing as loyalty. Honesty is a virtue. Loyalty is an extended apparition, or perhaps an accessory, either of vanity or of, trying to be too cool for everyone's comfort. But it never works in the long term. So my advice to people would be honest, be credible, be a warm, decent human being. Say it as it is. Don't worry about the consequences. Because those consequences would occur even if you weren't. So, they're not sub judice, to use that word loosely.
Suhel, one always sees a beautiful woman in your arms, and you've been photographed with striking women. How come you're still single? Are you still single?
Yeah, I'm still single in the sense I don't have a committed relationship with anyone.
So you have a relationship but not a committed one?
No, I don't have a committed relationship. The words are inseparable.
Okay.
I'm a great believer that since I'm not gay, I have the right to be with a woman.
Sorry, you felt the need to state that.
Yeah, because, in India, if you're not married, you're either gay or certified impotent, or, you must have bad breath or body odor. So I must say this on international television, I suffer from none of those, problems. The reality is that I'm single. If I can keep a woman enthralled or entertained, whose business is it anyway? I'm not forcing anyone at gunpoint. I'm not kidnapping them like the dacoits of Chambal. I'm not, giving them some kind of inducement to say, oh, you'll get a better job, or you get this, or you get that. I mean, people ask me, why do you have pretty women around you? I said, would you much rather I had ugly women? I mean, let's face it, we're all human beings, and let's not be hypocritical about these things. The reality is, which man wouldn't want a beautiful woman by his side? It doesn't mean that you're being a marauder. It doesn't mean that you're a serial womanizer. But let's stop being hypocrites. And none of my friends or my lady friends have ever had a complaint about going out with me. So why on earth should I worry about the rest of the world?
Did they have a complaint when you stopped going out with them?
That I don't know, because then I'm not in touch for me to know whether they've complained or not. And I don't have the time, nor do I stay in one place long enough to even understand that they've been gossiping. So I'm merrily ignorant of their complaints if and when they do make those complaints.
Okay. Well, in 1989, you married your co-actor, Sandhya Narayan, who played your daughter in the play Bhutto.
Correct.
Was it love at first sight?
No, it wasn't love at first. Again, these are things that Mills and Boone and, people with very limited intelligence would sell. Oh, was it love at first? There's no such thing as love at first sight.
But ask any boy who's between 17 and 20 and they have love at first sight every other day.
Yeah, so therefore it's not love at first sight. I mean, you could be seeing different flowers as you walk in a park. That doesn't mean love at first sight with every flower. Sandhya played my daughter, played Bhutto. It wasn't child marriage, I can assure you. The age difference between us was, I think, 3 or 4 years. And I played Zulfikar Ali Bhutto. Outstanding girl. Brilliant. We stayed married for 4 years. And then 1993, we parted. And we parted very amicably. She has moved on and married again. And I have moved everywhere and remained unmarried.
It must have been a very difficult time for you when your marriage ended.
Not at all. See, I'm not going to give you the usual response. Oh my God, yeah, my heart, I was in pain. I couldn't go out. I was distraught. I stopped eating. I put on